What's up, guys? This is Aussie Sim Commentator here, and welcome to the Get Well Soon Newman 150 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Obviously, after the horrific crash that Newman suffered at Daytona, we're just wishing him all the best of luck. We didn't have a sponsor for this week's race, so we thought we'd dedicate it to the hope that Ryan Newman can get better quickly and make a return to racing somewhat soon. We know it might be a little bit of a dream, but here's hoping. And if you don't know yet, the latest update that we've received is that he is awake and talking, which is excellent news. So we're going to go and have a look at these guys, as I'm pretty sure they're just about to start getting ready for a pit party. We see everyone starting to line up at the end of pit lane here. Be interesting to see how these guys tackle this car. It's a little bit loose in the early goings on, but then the car will become tight as the race goes on. We could see multiple grooves of racing throughout. At the moment, so far in practice, Derek Myers is the car on top. Christian Budd out of P2, Thomas Harmon third, with Jaron Sanchez sitting in fourth overall. And in case you are wondering, the strength of field so far out of the 24 people that are here, myself included, is a 25-66. Which is nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. So it looks like we're going to have the 4 of Jaron Sanchez taking point here. For the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Oh, no. Jonathan. Who's going to take the point in this race? In the Miller Lite number 2 car. Maybe he's the one that's going to be taking point. That is actually going to be the 1 of Brandon Bennett. And it looks like that is the way it's going to be. The field comes down. Pace car is in. And we're off for the second pit party of the season. Jonathan Hernandez already giving Brandon Bennett a huge push. We see the 84 of Aspen Belvin coming out of the pits now. We've already got a 3-wide situation here in the middle of the pack. The Frank is on the outside of that. Frank Isaacson in the 24. Going up the middle is the 50. Oh, and we got a crash already. The 22 of Brandon Bennett was around. Got lots of death coming out of this one. Not sure how that started. But that definitely ended with a lot of thrashing there. Lots of people in the pits now. As I think we just saw the 74 car getting loose and smashing the inside wall. It was indeed the 74. Thank you to iRacing for going on to him so we could check that out. But here we go now. We got Brandon Bennett, Jonathan Hernandez, Christopher Spencer, Jaron Sanchez here as your top 4. Frank still sitting there back in 5th with Derek Myers on his tail. Blake Tarwick just behind them as well. Jonathan trying to look for a way around Brandon. It doesn't look like he's got a clear avenue to go around anywhere. And that's actually allowed Christopher Spencer to catch up, and same with Jaron Sanchez. The 88 goes high to block. That's going to open up the low side for Christopher to take advantage. And the 88 just about getting into the wall there, coming off a turn 2. 3 wide for the lead of the pit party. And it's still Brandon Bennett on point as he has cleared both those cars. But they come back at him with the momentum off the high side. And Brandon Bennett into the grass. That is his pit party over. Now Jonathan Hernandez slots back into third behind Jaron Sanchez. This is the top 5 for the pit party on screen. Jaron Sanchez now taking the point, going underneath Christopher Spencer. We saw Brandon Miller coming back out onto the track there. These guys keeping it nice, close and hard. The battle was absolutely electric, with Christopher Spencer sitting there on the outside. Oh, and we got a big drama there. I was looking away for a brief second and completely missed it. But there are cars strewn all over the place. One of them being the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Now we see the 7 of Brian Harris on screen. And we jump over now to the 13 and the 22. That's Brandon Miller and Travis Massier. Spin by Christopher Spencer on the back straight. That exit of turn 2 is going to be a hard place to navigate. But I'm just getting something sorted out for the guys in Discord, for the streamers, so they can watch, their viewers can watch side by side their stream and mine, the broadcast here. As now go back to the action on track, we can see the 13 and the 22 have been caught by the 2, which is really the 1 of Brandon Bennett. I have to talk to him about that because that's going to make things really confusing for me. Brandon Bennett is on fresher tyres, I do believe. Only by one lap though, than the 13 and the 22. But fresh tyres really do help. We see the 38 of Thomas Harmon working his way behind the 84 and the 51. Two teammate cars there. That's Aspen Belvin and Travis Elliott. Just in front of them is the 90 of Michael Sturgill. My apologies for butchering the name if it is indeed not pronounced that way. To the outside goes Michael in the 90 car. Let's go and have a look at see who we got on track. The 38 of Thomas Harmon just clocked the second fastest time. Oh, the 51's gotten loose. Oh, he didn't hold his brakes for a little bit there and almost rolled up into Frank in the 24 car. Like he's got it saved now. As we're going to go actually on board with the 38 of Thomas Harmon here. Going to his gyro cam. As we see the C's part in front of him. Pit entry time. And it looks like he got it in just in time. Nicely done by Thomas. Now we've got the 5 of Mark Pentecoff on screen just in front of the 81 of Corey Williamson. Corey no longer a rookie. Now he's a full-fledged driver in the league. Corey Williamson getting right on the tail of Frank there, pulling to his inside. And then iRacing decides that that's not good enough for us to watch. We're going to go jump in on Frank Isaacson's car here in the gyro cam. As we're having a look at the 7 of Brian Harris. See a lot of cars practicing their pit entries here, anticipating green flag stops, which I do believe we will have at least one of. So Frank just can't get around the 7 of Brian Harris here, content to just sit in behind him. So Frank with a run here, just about getting to the low side of Brian. Harris still holding on strong there. These guys are 9th and 12th respectively, Brian Harris and Frank Isaacson that is. Brian has a 30.575 as his quick time, Frank with a 30.599. Both of them down in the 30.8s on the last time around. Let's see what they got this time. Should have very similar times here. Brian Harris with a 30.853. Frank with a 30.858. It looks like they're really starting to catch up to Matt Burgess. I think that is ahead of them. Matt Burgess currently in 13th with a 30.6. We're going to go back to just focusing on whoever, wherever. And we've landed on the 2 of Brandon Bennett. It's supposed to be the 1 of Brandon Bennett. I think he's got a custom paint on with the number 2 there. It's definitely going to make things a little bit confusing for me. Right in front of him, the 101 of Christopher Spencer. One of the guys that was there or thereabouts in the race last week at Daytona. Got caught up in the incident that took out the 3 rookies, himself included. As we see the 2 now pulling down to the apron, he's going to back it in and try again. As we see now Jerry Glenn and Gerald West on the screen. Jerry Glenn in the 98 car, Gerald West in the 86. I've just been told that maybe trading paints is having an issue. So we're going to restart trading paints here and hope for the best. You see the 81 and the 5 in the pit lane. As we now see the 2 of Chris Champeau making his way to the track. Oh, getting loose on the apron. Hitting the inside wall. That's not what you want to do here. They're still waiting for trading paints to update all the schemes. Apparently last week we didn't have custom cars and numbers enabled. This week we do. So hopefully things will be alright as far as that's concerned here. There's the 50 of Christian Budd. Here comes a 74 of TJ Crampton right out behind Jaron Sanchez. TJ not having the best of races last week. So hopefully he can turn his luck around and be up towards the front this time. Had a great showing in the duels. As we go back to the 50 of Christian Budd. There's the 86 of Gerald West there right with him as well. Gerald trying to run that ultra high line. Doesn't look like it was working out for him that time as we swap back over to the 4 and the 74. As they're working on the inside of Chris Champeau there. Here comes Jaron with a pit entry. And iRacing decided to jump away back to the 74. Thanks, iRacing. As all the paints should now be updated. We'll just wait for Brandon Bennett to get back on the track and we'll go and check out whether he is indeed running his normal paint or not. That 2 of Chris Champeau looks absolutely fantastic. Go and have a look at that car. Nice and shiny. And it looks like he's going to abort his run. We see the 5 of Mark Pentecoff trundling down the pit lane. Got the 24 and the 38, Frank Isaacson and Thomas Harmon. Frank sitting right in behind Thomas there, the second place car at the moment. Frank with 5 lap older tyres than what Thomas has on the car. There's something there that I've got to adjust as well. As we see on screen now, we've got the 78, the 88, and the 50. That's Brian Pizzicami, Jonathan Hernandez, and Christian Budd there. As I see that Brandon Bennett's actually back on track, so let's go and check out whether... No, it still says he's in the 2 car. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what's going on with trading paints there, but it's definitely not showing up the right paint. As we go back to this 3-car pack, just behind them, I do believe is actually the one of Brandon Bennett. These guys only have just about 3 minutes left in this session before we go on to qualifying. I'm guessing they'll be trying to get all the draft practice in that they can. Not too many people doing qualifying simulation laps, which is a little bit of a surprise. As we see Christian Budd trying to make a move on the outside there. I'm not sure if he got a little bit loose or whether that was intentional. Slots back into position just behind the 88. These guys are very quickly running out of time of how much information they can gather from the practice session. Big push going to Fizikemi there from Hernandez. The 86 of Gerald West is well and truly on their ass. Gerald West currently the top time at the moment. Derek Myers, his teammate, second, with Thomas Harmon and Christian Budd in third and fourth respectively. Alright guys, we're within a minute of the end of practice here, so we're going to go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back we should be just about getting ready to grid for the Get Well Soon Newman 150 here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Alrighty guys, we are back and it's time for us to start setting the grid for the Get Well Soon Newman 150 here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Starting off the pole with a fantastic time, a 30.804 will be the 50 of Christian Budd. On his outside will be the 20 car of Derek Myers. Starting out of third will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez with the 12 of Matt Burgess starting out of P4. Travis Elliott in the 51 will be starting out of fifth with the 20 of Justin Botello starting out of P6. The 4 of Jaron Sanchez will be out of 7th with the 2 of Chris Champeau out of 8th. The 84 of Aspen Belvin will be starting out of 9th with the 101 of Christopher Spencer starting from P10. The 11th place car will be the 86 of Gerald West, and on his outside will be the 16 of Charles Becker. I'm going to have Blake Tarwick in the 56 out of 13th, and the 74 of TJ Crampton out of 14th. Also going to have the 5 of Mark Pentecoff starting out of 15th, with the 13 of Travis Massier out of 16. Jerry Glenn in the 98 car will be starting out of 17th, with the 24 of Frank Isaacson out of 18th. 19th will be the 7 of Brian Harris, and 20th will be the 22 of Brandon Miller. 21st position will be the 1 car of Brandon Bennett, and out of 22nd will be the 78 of Brian Pizzicami. Thomas Harmon in the 38 car will be starting from 23rd, with Jordan Lee in the 47 starting out of 24th. Mitchell Sturgill will be starting the 90 car out of 25th. On his outside will be the 18 of Brian Beach. We've also got Dustin German and Corey Williamson loaded up to the server. Not sure if they're on track. I don't think they are. So we'll have to wait and see what was going on with them later on. But meant to be Corey Williamson in 27th and Dustin German out of 28th. We are getting ready to rock and roll here. We only do one lap of pacing and then we're going to get straight into it as soon as they get back around to the front of the track. The first start is on green. All the restarts are on the leader, and the leader has lane choice for the restarts as well. Pace is starting to quicken. The pulse is starting to rise. Pace car takes his late exit into the pits. And we are underway
Green flag.
in the Output Racing League Get Well Soon Newman 150 here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And already the 50 of Christian Budd opening up a huge lead. Derek Myers not getting a great start, and that's just checked up that entire outside lane. It looks like the 12 of Matt Burgess is slowly going to start slipping down the field here, unable to get a nice clear spot where he can drive. But the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez looking very, very aggressive already, pounding the back of the 50 car, trying to make a position up. As we also saw the 20 car of Derek Myers working his way around the inside of Jaron Sanchez in the 4. Just behind them, I think we have the 120 car of Justin Botello. Indeed we do. He's running these custom numbers to say 20 because 20 is normally his number. So we're going to have 2 20s and 2 2s in this race. And it is a bit of a cluster behind the 220s as we go 2 by 2 all the way down for a couple of rows here. About 4 rows to be exact. So we go back up to our leader. Justin German is actually on track. We see him here. He's just in front of the pack. He's going to be at risk going a lap down here soon. He didn't want to start on the track, obviously. As we work back to our leaders now, the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez with an amazing move there on the inside to take the lead away from Christian Budd. 51 of Travis Elliott still up in there, and so is the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. These guys are racing hard here in the early laps, but what are they going to do when they get up to Dustin German and they have to lap him? Is Dustin going to throw a spanner into the works and bring out an early caution? We'll have to wait and see. Christian Budd makes his way back to the inside here of Jonathan Hernandez. Budd is one of the pound-for-pound fastest drivers that we have here in the Output Racing League. Hernandez is no slouch himself. Elliott, I don't have much of a clue about because this is only his second race here with us in the Output Racing League. The 4 of Jaron Sanchez just looming there behind them with the 220s. That's of course Derek Myers and the newly partnered streamer of Justin Botello. As we're now 2 by 2 for the first 3 rows. The top 6 separated by absolutely nothing as we get behind the 99 of Dustin German. This is definitely going to be interesting for all our drivers with how they're going to approach this. Christian Budd going to the extreme inside to take the position, and Dustin German's going to hold up the outside line here. Not wanting to run too high to let them all through. He's going to be a little bit of a rolling roadblock here, and that is going to frustrate the 88 of Hernandez. Hernandez trying to find a way around the lapped car. He wants to take it 3 wide so he can get around him. And this time he does. 3 wide is the call that they got on their spotters. And there's contact. More contact. More contact. The 99 is going around. And that has brought out the first caution of the race. Let's go and check in on the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez here. Let's see if he's got any damage on that right side. He's got a little bit of rear quarter panel damage there. A little bit of damage on his side door. But apart from that, the car is looking not too bad. So hopefully that won't affect his aero too much. But that was definitely a little bit of unnecessary driving there by Dustin German. We see everyone checking up for the pace car. So with that first caution being out, guys, we are going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we should be just about getting ready to go back to green. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Alrighty, we are back now. And looks like we have indeed had some pit stops take place. Looks like just about everyone has stopped, but I can see a couple cars that haven't. Been the 2 of Brandon Bennett, the 98 of Jerry Glenn, who's just come into the pits this time, I think. And we also have the 7 of Brian Harris, who's just come in. But Brandon Bennett is going to be taking the point in this restart. It looks like we're still not lining up side by side. So that means that we're only on 2 to go right now. Still a little bit of time here before we go green. Let's see if maybe we can grab a quick audience with Jonathan Hernandez here, actually. See if we can get the raw emotion out of him. Jonathan Hernandez, Corey up in the booth, do you have a really quick copy?
Yes, I do.
Alright, so a little bit of contact there with you and Dustin German brought out that caution. What was it like from your experience really quickly here?
Well, I thought Dustin would give way, to the rest of the leaders, especially since he was going to be the only one on lap down. Right there in the trial where he left the low opening, I took it, and I didn't know he was going to come back down off the wall. And as soon as he came down, the contact from him and me sent me down to Travis, and then from Travis, it sent me back up into him. And luckily, so far, it was only minor damage, 17 seconds. It's just, nothing you could do, especially this early in the race. I don't know what the plan was for him, but, blocking the leaders like that, I don't think it was a good move.
Alright, man, anyone you want to give quick thank to before we let you go again?
For this race, I'm rocking a different paint scheme. Of course, my team and our sponsor this race, which is Windows 10, and y'all. And hopefully Ryan Newman gets well, as our get well soon Newman 150 or 100.
Alright, good luck for the rest of the race, mate, and we'll hopefully see you later on.
Alrighty, Corey.
Alright guys, so that was the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. You heard it there, he thought that the lap car was going to give him a little bit more space, but he didn't. As now we rejoin the front of the pack, it's going to be Christian Budd, Derek Myers, Jaron Sanchez, Gerald West, and Aspen Belvin as your top 5. It looks like the 2 of Brandon Bennett did indeed pit.
Go.
Big jump there by Christian Budd to take a commanding lead going into the restart. And he has opened up quite the lead at the moment. But that's going to come down very quickly with the draft package. We see the 4, Jaron Sanchez, restarted that one from back in 3rd. Still trying to hold on to the 3rd place with Gerald West on his outside. Like we've got the 20 of Justin Botello up in that still as well. And the other 20 of Derek Myers hounding the leader, trying to take away the lead of this race as some guys get loose behind. I think that was the 74 car of TJ Crampton. Derek Myers now takes away the lead from Christian Budd. And here comes his teammate, the 86 of Gerald West as well. As we see Jaron Sanchez falling down the pack a little bit, back into P6 at the moment. But all the action's right up here for the lead of the race. As Gerald West working his way on the inside of the 50. It looks like Justin Botello in the 20 trying to push the 50 along. It's a battle of the 220s up here at the front of the pack. As we get really close there, coming out of the trioval between the 50 and the 86 of Bud and West. Oh, Christian Bud almost with the run there. Oh, contact. Christian Bud's getting loose. It looks like he's got it saved now, but that just halted all of his momentum. It also stunted the momentum of the 120 of Justin Botello. The rest of the pack is caught up as well. We're 3 wide with TJ Crampton on the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact. A little bit more contact. The 101. He's getting a little bit loose. The 50 was pushed right up to the wall. But all's clear. Everyone holds on to it. Amazing racing right now. A little bit of door banging. A little bit aggressive. But that's just the way we like it. Looks like Jaron Sanchez has a little bit of damage there on the tail of his car. Might have been caught up in that first incident. Maybe he's gotten into the wall a little bit at some point, because he has dropped down a lot. These guys are down in the 10th and 11th positions now. We see the 2 of Chris Champeau just up in front of these guys, battling out with the 101 of Christopher Spencer. We're going to go back and check in on our leaders. Derek Myers is on the outside of his teammate Gerald West, and that was a nice easy overtake there for Gerald. And Gerald now takes control of this race, but Justin Botello just there behind them. With the teammate dynamic that these two have, they could be trying to do the double block on him like they attempted on Thomas Harmon last week at Daytona. As they continue to drive side by side around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. These guys trying everything they can to try and keep Justin behind them, and also to extend their lead. It looks like nothing doing at the moment. Not sure whether they think running side by side is the faster thing to do here or not. It seems to be working out for them at the moment. Big Justin has just slowed down ever so slightly, just getting a little bit of an air gap between them, as there was almost some more contact there between the 2 teammates. But they're still racing pretty hard. The fast time was actually, of the last night, was done by Chris Champeau, sorry. 30.536. Christian Budd now with a 30.548. He's trying to make a charge back through the field. Currently in P9. Jaron Sanchez dropped all the way down to 15th, so that's not good for Jaron. These 2 SSR cars still controlling the lead right now. Unwilling to let anyone take it away from them. A little bit of a surprise here, but not really. TJ Crampton in 5th position, holding off Aspen Belvin in the 84. TJ not a slouch behind the wheel. Just gets really unlucky from time to time, like we saw at Rockingham last season, leading for the majority of the race, and then an unfortunate mistake took him out of the running. He's up there in 5th at the moment, just trying to hold on to these top guys, trying to stick in their draft, see if he can make a move, or see if he can maybe practice making some moves for later on. But he also looks quite content, just sitting there in 5th, waiting out his moment. As we go back to looking at our front 2 drivers here. These guys are both running in the 30.8 second bracket. And they've actually Made sure everyone else is running around about the same times there, just behind them. As now Derek Myers gets the advantage on the outside of turn 2 and takes the lead away from Gerald West. Back to some single file running. Here comes Jabo. Looking for an outside move here, possibly going into turn 1. Can he get the overlap? Not quite yet. As now the 86 of Gerald West looking to get a run on the outside of his teammate. His teammate leaves the space and Gerald West is back to the side of Derek Myers here. But Derek, with the huge run on the inside, blocks off his teammate, goes back to the outside run for turns 1 and 2 and opens up the inside for his teammate. Gerald West and Derek Myers controlling the race the way they want to. It's also looking like tyre wear might be starting to take a little bit of a toll here. We're 18 laps into the run. The run that you can get off the outside of turn 2 is absolutely phenomenal. And here comes Justin Botello. Can he make a move to try and get into second? Goes to the outside. Can he get the run? We'll have to wait and see. Gerald West moves up and blocks it. Not sure whether there was a block or whether he got loose, but now Jabo up on the inside as we saw a car getting loose right in the background there. Not sure who that was. And Jabo now takes over the second spot, blocking off the chance for a rebuttal by the two teammates here. Now Gerald West looking for the outside run in turns 1 and 2. Opened up the door a little bit for Blake Tarwick. Blake not able to take advantage of it though. Now Justin closing in on our leader. I said that this was going to be a battle of the 220s, and it definitely is now. As Justin takes the inside line on Derek Myers going through the tri-oval. Not an area where you usually see a pass being made. Not in the way that he did it anyway. Running the inside, he checked up a little bit. Gerald West back onto his inside now. Can Jabo hold it around the outside and keep the momentum up? It looks like he can at the moment. Let's see how they do going through turns 1 and 2. They're still side by side, the 86 and the 120. And it looks like Jabo consolidating himself into third right now, although he did get a better run coming out of turn 2 than Gerald West that time. But the two teammates back in first and second. Hard, fast-paced racing here in the beginning stages of this race. We're 32 laps into the 100-lap race, 150 miles. As Jabo now looks to the inside in turn 3. Gerald West goes a little bit higher than he probably should have there, and now Jabo back up into P2. Let's have a look out the back of the 20 car here, Derek Myers. Watch these guys battle it out behind him. Derek taking a wide arc into turn 3 there. Looks like it didn't quite work out for him, because here comes Jabo. Jabo with a run. Closing in right on the back of Derek there. Unable to make anything of it as Derek's running just a little bit off the apron there. Be interesting to see whether Jabo can actually pull a move off here. Obviously the lead of the race will be the best place to be. because the dirty air will definitely make these cars tight with old tires. Davo with another run here, pulling right down to the inside of the track. Derek with another late apex. Everyone sliding up so close to that wall, just about touching it. We go back outside the cars. And it looks like we have a change of position just behind them for fourth. The 74 of TJ Crampton getting around Blake Tarwick. We just saw the end of that move taking place as we were coming back out of the bumper cam there. And saw Frank Isaacson there right in the back getting loose coming off of turn 2. As we're going to go back up to our leaders now. These guys definitely pushing it very hard. Looks like Dustin German might be completely out of this race. He hasn't come back on the track yet. Let's see if we can see anything that's going on down the pack here. Go check in with the 12 of Matt Burgess. He's in a battle with the 2 of Chris Champeau and the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Just watch this battle here for a little bit. You see a slow car there on the inside. That Blake Tarwick in the 84. No, it's not Blake Tarwick in the 84. It's Aspen Belvin, who was in P6 there, but now dropping like a stone down to 9th. I'm not sure what's going on with Belvin there. But he is losing position like it's going out of fashion. And we are starting to get some green flag stops. Just saw the 86 of Gerald West onto the pit lane. Like we've got Brian Beach in the pits as well. So let's keep up with our leaders. See when the 220s are going to come into the pits. And this has promoted TJ Crampton up into P3 at the moment. It looks like Derek's actually starting to build a little bit of a gap here to the 20 of Justin Battallo. Let's see if the 220 is going to pit this time. Not yet. They're both staying out. I think TJ Crampton stayed out as well. Going to be interesting to see how this race is going to continue to unfold. Looks like Brian Beach still in the pit lane. Maybe he had some kind of bigger problem. Gerald West is out and 2 laps down. Gerald possibly trying to go for a little bit of an undercut. A short stop strategy. Could work out if we go green flag the rest of the way. But that is yet to be seen. We still have both the 20s still out in front, but Myers Definitely putting a gap over Botello here a little bit. Crampton still sitting there in the 3rd position. A huge gap after Crampton, back to Thomas Harmon in the 38. As we now see Derek Myers coming into the pits. Nice easy stop into the pit lane there. Going to bring Jabo into the lead and TJ Crampton into P2. See when these guys are going to come in for their stops. Jabo stays out. Crampton stays out. Thomas Harmon 2 seconds off the lead. Looks like Travis Massier has just come into the pits. Jabo running a really low aggressive line here. Brian Beach still in the pits, so I think Brian might have had some contact with the wall, getting some repairs done. Jonathan Hernandez coming into the pits. We're just about halfway through this race. I think these guys might be trying to get to halfway, see if they can stretch it out from there. I don't think that's too wise of a decision because we did have an early caution there which aided these guys with some fuel saving. I think they still have to stop twice. It's definitely going to be close as Travis Elliott in the 51 now pits. Jabo still staying out. TJ Crampton still staying out. Christian Budd in the 50, I think, is the next car to go into the pit lane. He is. We see Travis Elliott starting to come out of his pit stall. But Gerald West was really affected quite badly there by his pit stop. At the moment, he's the only person who's actually gone 2 laps down from pitting. We also have Aspen Belvin and Frank Isaacson in the pits. Doesn't look like anyone's blinking this time as when we get to the start finish line, we'll be halfway through this race. 50 down and 50 to go. Ryan Harris now comes down into the pits. And we're officially halfway through this race. And without having any onboard telemetry, we don't know how much fuel these guys have got left. And now Blake Tarwick comes into the pits. Jaron Sanchez is pitting as well. Looks like Thomas Harmon is up on the back of TJ Crampton for second. Thomas Harmon makes a nice easy move there to the inside, but he's going to the pits as well. Little bit sketchy as he comes in. Jabo's in the pits. Crampton still out on track. Matt Burgess is pitting. Christopher Spencer is pitting. Brandon Miller is pitting, and so is Mark Penticuff. I think Chris Champeau might be pitting this time. Now let's open up the radio waves and see what we can hear.
78 pitting. 78 pitting.
Let's see TJ coming into the pits now. Chris Champeau's following him. Oh, Jordan Lee in the 47. I think he was going to pit but missed it. Jordan Lee missed pit entry.
Yeah, I stayed out because I thought there was going to be a wreck.
Jerry Glenn staying out. Jerry Glenn is now the leader. fact, the 47 of Jordan Lee here having a lot of rear end
I
damage.
thought she was going to spin, so I stayed out and lost a lot of time there.
Not sure whether he got tapped
That's
or
my
not.
fault. I was trying to stay low for you guys to go around. I didn't see that you guys were pitting it out.
Jordan coming into the pits now, so is Jerry
My
Glenn.
bad, Jordan.
That is going to complete this pit stop cycle. We'll have to wait and see who's going to come out in the lead. iRacing thinks it's going to be Crampton. But I dare say it's going to be Derek Myers, actually. Going to be Derek Myers, followed by Jonathan Hernandez, if my calculations here are correct. Maybe it is Justin Botello. But I am definitely thinking it's going to be the 20 of Derek Myers, and in fact it is. It's now official, Derek Myers in the lead with a 6-second lead over Jonathan Hernandez. That is a huge lead. We're going to leave the radio waves open here to see what these drivers are talking about. As Jabo just gets around Jonathan Hernandez for second. They got the 86 Gerald West there a lap down just behind them. As I said, I think Gerald made a mistake on pit lane or got a penalty or something, because he is still a lap down. If a caution was to come out, he is the first car a lap down. Just behind them, the 50 of Christian Budd. We've seen him get a little bit squirrely coming into the pits. And these guys are catching Derek with their slightly fresher tyres.
Cuba.
The 86 Gerald West trying to run that high line. Trying to get a slingshot going.
Are you with HPM?
Nah, I gotta kick off.
I got you.
I gotta take them logos off.
Gotcha.
We're going to mute the driver channel now. Get back to the racing. We see Thomas Harmon just behind us here, making a move to the inside of Christian Budd. Will the momentum carry Christian, or will Thomas get it? Looks like Thomas is going to get it at the moment. Still too close to call though. 50 of Budd holding on the outside there. As these guys have closed in to about 4.5 seconds behind Derek Myers. You see the 7 just in behind these guys as Brian Harris, he's also a lap down. And it looks like he's just overtaken the 86 of Gerald West to take over that first car lap down spot. So he's in the lucky dog position. And now that we've gone through all the green flag stops, we're going to go to a quick commercial break here, guys. When we come back, provided we don't get a caution, we'll be going to the end. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Alrighty, we are back. And as you can see, we're riding on board with Thomas Harmon here, as he's sitting right up behind Justin Botello. These guys are closing very quickly on our leader, which is the 20 of Derek Myers. Yeah, that's Derek just up the road. That little yellow car that was a speck in the distance. Thomas has just been absolutely flying at the moment. He's got the same age tyres as Jabo, and they're both using that to their advantage. Currently running about 2 or 3 tenths faster per lap than Derek Myers is. In fact, that time they were both 3 tenths faster than him. Let's go through the field at the moment. Let's see who we got where and what they're doing. In the lead of the race, we have the 20 of Derek Myers. He's just been out in the lead, minding his own business, but he's only got a 2.5 second gap now. Back to Justin Botello. The 20 car on track, but the 120 car in your standings. Just behind him, we have the 38 of Thomas Harmon, who has been looking strong ever since the pit stops. Behind them, we have the 50 car of Christian Budd, who looks like he's actually only just gotten around the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Running the Windows 10 scheme there. I wouldn't trust him to update it. Just behind them, we have the 51 car of Travis Elliott, one of the league rookies. Looking pretty strong though, sitting there in 5th. Behind him in P6 is a gaggle of cars, but it's being led by Chris Champeau. But he is under heavy pressure here from the 56 car of Blake Tarwick, one of the league rookies. And then just behind him is the 74 of TJ Crampton. We've also got the 12 of Matt Burgess in here and the 101 of Christopher Spencer. Then we got another little bit of a gap and we go back to the 16 car of Charles Becker, who is actually under pressure there from the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. These guys are on the same lap tyres, and they both got fresher tyres than the 84 of Aspen Belvin. And behind Aspen, we got a little bit of a gap all the way back to the 98 of Jerry Glenn. And just behind him, it's the 2 car on track, but the 1 car in your standings of Brandon Bennett. Still don't understand why it's showing the Miller Lite car when it shouldn't be. Behind Brandon, we've got the 13 of Travis Massia. And then we follow him up very quickly with the 22 of Brandon Creepy Van Miller. Looks like Brandon looking to the inside of the 13 here, so we could have a change for position between these two. We'll stick with this for just a second. And we do indeed have a change for position there. It looks like Travis is going to drop back because the 5 of Mark Pentecoff right up in there as well on his inside. Try and take over that 18th position, and he gets it. And we also have the 90 car here in P20 of Michael Sturgill, who has just taken over 19th. So Travis Massia now back to 13th position. And that wraps up your top 13 at the moment, but I think Derek Myers and Travis Elliott are in the pits. There's Derek making his pit stop now. I think this is going to be the stop to the end. So I'm not sure what the motivation for pitting there was, other than this is the last stop that they need to make. Open up the radio waves and see if we can hear anything. As we also have Jabo and Jonathan Hernandez coming into the pits. Blake Tarwick's pitting. Yeah, this is the final stop that these drivers need to make it to the end. So we're going to set the cameras to focus on crashes, because there's going to be a lot of action going on with people coming into the pits and out of the pits. Like at the moment, we're focused on the 74 car of TJ Crampton. Now we move back to the 12 of Matt Burgess. Green flag pit stops is usually where all the action is, because everyone's on different strategies.
Pitting him this time, pitting him.
And you just heard the 12 of Matt Burgess saying that he's coming in this time.
Pitting this time.
TJ Crampton coming in as well. Christian Budd's in. Thomas Harmon is in. Christopher Spencer is in the 101. Now we're focused on the 90 of Michael Sturgill. Just heard Chris Champeau come over the radio that he's coming in. Jonas Sanchez also in the pits. Jerry Glenn's coming in.
Pitting him.
Brian Pizzakemi's coming in. Haven't heard anything from Charles Becker. Brandon Miller now takes over the lead of the race. Some extra bonus points there for leading the lap. As with these guys are going 3 wide as they're negotiating the traffic. The 5 of Mark Pentecoff there, currently scored as 2nd position. As Michael Sturgill is battling away with him there. In fact, he was battling away with him there, but he's dropped back a little bit as these guys with fresher tyres starting to hound our new leader, the 22 of Brandon Miller. Got Christopher Spencer and Travis Elliott just behind him. He runs high to let them go by. Looks like Spencer there just getting into the apron, getting a little bit loose coming off of turn 4. Something you have to worry about. Charles Becker now comes into the pits. He's 2 laps down. So he must have had an issue getting onto the pit lane there. The 74 of TJ Crampton starting to make his way through the field as well. We've got Brandon Miller just continuing to run high, allowing some of the faster traffic through as Brian Harris and Gerald West come into the pits now. Mark Penticup is in the pits. Oh, and we've got contact. The 12 and the 22 have come to blows. No caution though, as we continue on the race. Not sure what happened there, whether the 12 came up into the 22. I was looking at the standings. So let's see if we can quickly go back and have a look at what's happened here. 22's running high. Oh, he hit the wall. Brandon Miller hit the wall, and that's just destroyed the run that Matt Burgess had. Oh, that is very unfortunate, as Jordan Lee now works on the inside of Brandon Miller to take away second position. But we still have the 90 of Michael Sturgill in the lead. It looks like our leader on adjustment is going to be Jabo, Justin Botello. Currently in 5th on track, but he's in front of the other guys as far as track position is concerned. So that could be an interesting one for the books, as we see everyone storming underneath Michael Sturgill in the 90 car. One of the league rookies. Definitely earning some bonus points here for leading the lap. As I'm pretty sure Jordan Lee would like to earn some of those bonus points as well. Not sure whether these guys are trying to make it to the end on the tyres and fuel that they got. It's definitely not going to be easy. So we're just going to keep eyes on Michael here, see what he can do. As we've got a lot of people unlapping themselves. Jordan Lee into the pits this time. That's going to bring Brandon Miller back up into 2nd. Brandon Miller going to be under attack here soon from the 24 of Frank Isaacson. Brandon looking like that damage that he suffered from both hitting the wall and hitting the 12 car is definitely starting to affect him. Matt Burgess is still on track, albeit down in the 25th position.
Thank you.
That's definitely not good at all for him. And not far behind these guys, in fact just 5 seconds behind these guys, battling it out for 2nd and 3rd, is Justin Botello in 4th. So if these guys are going to pit, they're going to have to do it soon to try and keep themselves on the lead lap here. As I see Jordan Lee is going multiple laps down, so I think he might have had a drama coming into the pits. Yeah, Jordan Lee two laps down. As now the 24 of Frank Isaacson makes his way underneath Brandon Miller. Charles Becker goes through as well. And very shortly we should be seeing the 120 of Jabo, who actually has Jaron Sanchez right behind him, giving him some help. Sanchez down in the 19th position. 1 lap down. In fact, he is the first car a lap down. Both on track and in scoring. As we see now the 22 and the 24 both heading down into the pits. I'm not sure if Sturgill's in the pits. No, he's not. He's still on track. So that's only Jabo up into P2. Very shortly we'll have a different story. We're going to keep our eyes right here on Jabo for when he does take over the lead.
Yeah, I think I'm a little quicker. Yeah, I think I'm a little quicker. I'm on fresher tires, or I think I caught you, I ran you down. So.
So we're getting a lot of cars coming back onto the lead lap now. Be interesting to see how it all unfolds. Michael Sturgill
Yeah, he's on
still
older tires
sitting
than we
on the
are.
lead lap. Still sitting in the lead. He's got a 4-second gap back to Justin Botello. He's on 39 lap old tyres right now. Only 9 laps, 10 laps,
No,
9.5
you-
laps to go in this race. And he's pitting in this time. I'm not sure that was a great choice. I thought he could have probably tried and stayed out to save the fuel and get the win. But it's not the way it's going to work out. That's going to bring Justin Botello into the lead of this race now.
Thank you, Jordan.
With the 4 of Jaron Sanchez sitting on his tail, currently in 17th. But he's probably going to gain at least another 1 position here. But one thing's for sure, Jaron Sanchez in the lucky dog position, sitting right behind our leader, Justin Botello. Second place after the round of pit stops is going to be the 20 of Derek Myers,
Try to catch him.
who has a gap in front and a gap behind. The gap behind goes out to Thomas Harmon in the 38 in third place there, who has Christian Budd right on his tail. Thomas with 1 lap fresher tyres, but that's not going to mean too much when it's Christian Budd. Jonathan Hernandez sitting back in P5. As we see a car coming out of the pits, that is Michael Sturgill in the 90. Guy that was our leader for a little bit there. As we're going to go back up to Justin. Got 7 laps to go in this race, and all he has to do is hold on for dear life. He doesn't even really need to push. He's running better times than Derek Myers, and Derek is the only one who could possibly catch him, as he runs high and actually allows Jaron Sanchez to get his lap back. Jaron is running on about 3 lap younger tyres than Jabo. Now Justin just slots in behind Jaron. 3.5 seconds back to Derek Myers. I think Jabo is just going to push Jaron a little bit faster here. Hope that Jaron can cut through some of the traffic in front of him. Jaron, obviously the league owner and operator. And if Jabo can help him push up a little bit, maybe get some more positions, then Justin's going to do exactly that. Looks like we've got 3 retirements from the race so far. There's Dustin German, who retired really early because of that first incident. Brian Beach, who retired 56 laps ago, and Matt Burgess, who retired after that contact with the 22 of Brandon Creepy Van Miller.
You're not in here anyway.
Brandon Miller actually down in 19th now, 1 lap down. Still behind Frank and Michael, but he's ahead of Gerald West. Jordan Lee, last car running on track, 2 laps down in 24th. As we come to the line, we got 3 laps to go. And this is all but a washout here for Justin Botello. 3 seconds is the gap back to Derek. Barring some kind of disaster or a caution, looks like Jabo is going to have this one all wrapped up and in the bag. Don't forget, we do have 2 attempts at a green-white checker if a caution was to come out now. But at the moment, 2 laps to go. It doesn't look like Jabo is going to need it. If anyone's desperately wanting a caution right now, it's going to be Derek Myers and Thomas Harmon. So they can catch up to, the phenomenal Justin Botello. As we come around turns 3 and 4 for the penultimate time, Jabo takes the white flag here. then the next flag ends the race. 1 lap to go. Or as I like to say, white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Justin Botello. And it looks like Justin definitely going to take away the win here as he comes thundering out of turn 4. The newly partnered streamer on Twitch, Justin Bo20, has taken the win of this race. Derek Myers is going to come home in second, and Thomas Harmon coming home in third. Great win for J-Bo, his first race of the season, and he's pulled off the big W. And with what was, fairly tough competition here. So guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll see if Justin goes to chuck some donuts here. There we go. If you've got the tier 2 sub emote here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel, make sure you unleash it now. J-Bo going nuts with the donuts. Right guys, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have driver interviews. Alrighty guys, we are back. And we're kicking things off with the Speedway Memes Hard Charger Award. And today's Hard Charger, after starting from 13th and finishing in P6, we have the return of Blake Tarwick. Blake, I amazing race today, man. Went down to strategy there for 2 green flag stops, and you worked your way from 13th to P6. Congratulations, first and foremost. How was the race for you, man?
The start started off great there. Under the first green stop there, we messed it up completely. I shot through probably about 3 boxes and had to back up. And then while I was in my pit stop, I started making adjustments for the next stop, and they started giving me service again. So I thought we were done. So at the end there, we took 2 tires and was hoping it would play off to our favor, and it did. A couple more laps, I don't think it would have, but I can't believe it worked.
You definitely played the strategy game to a T then, man. And it looked like quite the interesting race, especially after that first caution. Everything was bunched up. Everyone was a little unsure on how the race was going to go after that. So what was the race itself like for you?
After that first big one there, I was worried it was going to turn into that, but it turned into a pretty good race there. The top 5 of us was nose to tail. I can't save tires, so they started pulling on me. But I was having a lot of fun staying up there with everyone. We just figured out how to save tires a little bit better. I think we could contend for some wins.
All right, man. Well, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to while we got you up here in the booth today?
I have to shout out the Splash and Go again for my paint scheme. They do an awesome job.
All right, no worries. Thank you very much, man. Congratulations on Hard Charger. It's not an easy accolade to get, and you definitely made sure you smashed it today.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was the 56 of Blake Tarwick, earning himself his first ever Hard Charger award in a well-driven race. Coming up next, we are actually going to have our third place driver. And third place today goes to the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas, a great race by yourself today. Up towards the front there for the majority of it, but after the first round of pit stops, fell back a little bit and having to battle your way back through. What was that like?
It wasn't too bad. Because I just continued my strategy from the start of the race. Just lift a little early into the corners and not run flat out, and then let the better tires take over. Unfortunately, I didn't expect everybody to start cutting that last run in half, so I saved a little too much. But it is what it is, and come home third. Not bad considering I started 23rd, but I did I accomplished what I wanted to do. I didn't expect to come out and win this one, to be honest with you, but it was fun.
All right, man. Well, it was definitely a hard-fought race. Starting that far back in the pack. But what was the feeling like after that first caution came out? Well, our only caution came out. Were you expecting this to turn into like another Daytona, or did you have the confidence in the guys that we're going to get through it?
Just that what we saw in practice during the practice session kind of gave me some confidence that we'd make it through. I know there's a couple of squirrely parts in there that could have brought out a caution, but everybody held it together and avoided each other, and at least the cars that were out of shape, and kept it green and turned into a fun race.
All right, man. Well, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to while we got you up here in the booth?
Yeah, shout out to you for broadcasting, Jaron putting on the league, the admins, driver council for putting up with everybody's crap week in and week out, Miller's Creature Comforts, and Frank. And Avril for being on the hood, obviously.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations on P3. And if you see J-Bo floating around, tell him to hurry up and get back into the voice channel.
Will do.
All right, guys. That was the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Today's third place getter. An amazing race. He started at the back of the pack intentionally, did not take a time, and worked his way up to P3. No mean feat. Coming up next, we're going to have our second place getter running a new number this season, but he hasn't lost any of the speed. We're, of course, talking to the 20 of Derek Myers. Derek, great race by you this week, man. I see you and Gerald West were running side by side earlier on in the race and trying to, it looked like, control the race from both lanes. Am I a little bit spot on there, or was that just a little bit of friendly battle?
Oh no, we race each other like that all the time. I mean, it's very clean. He's a teammate, so I'm not gonna do anything crazy. But it's always fun to race Jerry like that, and typically it's always up there for the lead or somewhere up in the top five when we do that. And we know how to race each other. We've been in plenty of races in that same situation a lot of times. Sometimes one of us is ahead or comes out on the better end sometimes, but it's nothing unusual.
Now, it looked like you had the advantage coming out of that first round of green flag stops. Did something happen when you went in for the second stop, or was that just an unfortunate part of the strategy where you just fell off a little bit too quickly?
I mean, that's I don't know. I really wanted to take two tires, but I mean, I kind of like had a debacle while I was about to enter my pit stop or pit stall, and it I thought I was taking two honestly, and it gave me four, and I can't change it, can't go back in the past, and I was mired with four, and yeah, I guess that wasn't the call, obviously, and it's a learning experience. Thankfully, it's only the second race of the season. I'll put that in the memory bank for sure. Not that we're racing at Vegas again, but it could be different. Maybe four will pay off next week. I think it's Atlanta. I don't know. It's just something you learn from, I guess.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the strategies play out from here on. And just having a quick little look at the schedule. Next week is Auto Club. So, similar track to Atlanta and Las Vegas. So, it's definitely going to be a hard choice on how it's going to react.
Yeah, Auto Club. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I look forward to every race with this car. It's a lot of fun, and this is you can't ask for much of a better race, honestly. Like we only had one caution, I believe, and and I was up there the whole race, qualified second. Yeah, I thought I had it won, honestly, and then it didn't work out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to every week for sure. When you have speed, it's you're definitely looking forward to it, and I don't think next week will be any different. We'll give the 20 car some of the best races it's ever had. I can guarantee you that.
All right, man. Well, while we got you in here, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yep. Thanks to my teammates as usual. They're fun to race with, and sometimes they can be a help with strategy. Sometimes we can all learn together. But also prayers out to Ryan Newman. That was a terrible crash, and thanks for putting on the league, and thank you for Corey for broadcasting this. It'll be interesting to go back and watch some of the moves that were made.
All right, no worries, man. Well, thank you for coming out every week and putting on a good show. We really do appreciate it, and hopefully, we can see you on the top step next week at Auto Club.
Oh yeah, we plan on it. See ya.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that was the 20 of Derek Myers there. Today's second place getter. We're actually in a little bit of a pickle here because our winner, Justin Botello, was in the voice channel earlier, but then he's just disappeared on us. So we're going to have to go and chase him up a little bit here. Justin, if you can hear me, get your muffin back into the voice channel here so we can have a chat to you. Give him a couple minutes here to see if we can. And we'll bring up his car on the screen because he is the winner after all. It is a very nice painted car. If you guys are watching this and you have contact with Jabo right now, then please absolutely spam the crap out of him. Let's get him back into the voice channel so we can have a chat. Because it's not very often that we do get to talk to Jabo, so definitely going to be a bit of a treat. And I'm very impatient, so a couple of minutes won't be lasting very long at all. Hopefully. Oh, we got him! Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. J-Bo.
Sorry about
It's all good, man. Congratulations on coming out for your first race of the season and coming away with the W. How do you feel, man?
Feel great, man. It was a great race, man. 2 tires was a great call. You know, that's what won me the race.
Yeah, and we just found out from Derek in the second stop there, he took 4, which was his downfall for that one. So 2 tires, definitely the boss call, and you played that one perfectly.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. I love racing with all these guys, man. They're a lot of fun to race with, and I think 2 tires was a great move there.
Now, we were watching intently the first part of that race after the caution flag period. You, Derek, and Gerald West up at the front, battling it out hard. I kept saying that it was the battle of the 220s, but realistically, it was a battle between you and Gerald West there.
Oh yeah, I mean that was a really good battle. We battled really hard there, and it was a lot of fun. We battled hard with Derek a little bit earlier. I was following him. I couldn't really do anything for him when we were on the same tires. I burned my stuff up, but I think 2 tires was a good call. So.
All right, man. Now let's talk about the entire race as a whole. In that first green flag stop, you seemed to drop back a little bit, but you definitely made up all the time that you could with that 2-tire stop in the second one. So, what was the race in a whole like for you?
I think it was a ton of fun. I know the beginning there was a pretty big wreck. We barely got by that one, so that was good. But overall, the race was really fun. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. It was really slicey and dicey through the front, but it was.
All right, man. So we're going to Auto Club next week. What's the feeling heading into a fairly similar but equally as challenging track?
It's very spread out. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Might be a pack. I'm not really sure. We haven't been there in a while, so it should be a lot of fun. And we'll see. I'll practice hard for Auto Club there, and it'll be a good race next.
All right, so guys, Justin here is a newly partnered streamer on Twitch. He is a Twitch iRacing streamer. So Justin, time for the shout-outs, man. Do you want to quickly give your channel a shout-out? And then give a shout-out to just anyone that you feel like giving a shout-out to.
Thank Splash and Go Graphics for the great paint scheme, looking great out there, and Twitch channel always supporting me. JustMo20 always over there supporting me. So thank you for broadcasting too. You do a great job up here, Corey, and I appreciate everything Jaron does as a league winner.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations on your win. And we look forward to seeing you again next week and what you can do at Auto Club Speedway.
Thank you, Corey. I'll see y'all later.
All right, guys. So that was today's winner. Technically the 120, but on his car, it is the 20 of Justin Botello. And that is actually going to end up our broadcast here. Thank you guys for coming out. I just noticed that we got a crap ton of followers. So thank you everyone for following over here on Twitch. Don't forget you can check the replay out over at the Aussie Sim Commentator YouTube channel in about, 20 hours or so. Maybe less. Maybe more towards the 18-hour range. And we also do the replay over at my personal Twitch channel, twitch.tv/CoreyHasNoLife13, when I wake up tomorrow morning. So until next week at Auto Club Speedway, guys, make sure you drive safely on the roads. Good luck in all of your races on iRacing, and we will see you guys next week.